welcome to the house. This is where we do the deep work of identity transformation so you can stop hitting the same ceilings and actually start being the woman who breaks through them. So today we are talking about another one of the identities that I see a lot in the work that I do and the women that I speak to, and that is the one of the responsible woman. So this is the one that looks the most together. It looks like the most together from the outside, but inside it's the one that costs the most. So she's reliable, she's competent, she never lets anyone down, and she's completely exhausted by her own standards. You'll notice as well that as I go through these in previous videos and ones coming up is that there are going to be elements of that have a thread through. We're very rarely just the one thing, but there are nuances between them that matter, and you will identify with one more than the other. And yes, you can be a mixture of two, or maybe even three. But I want you to just, when you listen to these videos or listen to this podcast, I want you to just feel into what feels real and alive in your body, because you won't have a name for it, but you will feel it. As I'm talking through what this looks like, you will feel it when it's relevant for you. So the responsible woman isn't struggling because she has too much to do. She's struggling because her identity just won't let her put anything down. And the thing is that responsibility became her personality before she even got an opportunity to choose it. So this is like firstborn daughter vibes. It's older sister vibes. The one the family leaned on, the one who held it all together, and it got rewarded. And so you kept doing it, and you kept doing it, and you kept doing it, and it was rewarded, and you were a good girl, and which is another identity we'll talk about later. It just kept going, and this reward system on being that identity and being the responsible one made that energy be safe in your body. But how it shows up in your business is you find it really hard to delegate. You have to hold on to control. You have to be responsible for everything, because if you let somebody else do it, they probably won't do it right. And you can't rest because something might fall apart. If you stop, if you rest, if you stop controlling, if you delegate, if you let somebody else do it, it will all fall apart and you'll lose everything. And so you can't receive help because needing help feels like failure to you. So let's look at what's going on in your body. So this is like an over-functioning. It's an over-function. And it's funny that, when in crisis, people will either overfunction or underfunction. You are the overfunctioner. You are the one that goes, right, so something happens, right, let me just take over. I'll do this, you do that, you do that. So you're brilliant at delegating other people to do things in that kind of situation. But if it's yours, you want to take control of everything. But you are the one who goes, right, just snaps into that. I'll take responsibility, I'll sort it. That kind of vibe. So your body's in a constant low level of brace. Your nervous system's braced. It's scanning for what needs fixing next. What do I need to sort? What do I need to fix? What do I need to control? What do I need to sort out? It's that constant brace in your body, which is exhausting in itself. And one of the most obvious signs is that you just don't know how to be still. Stillness doesn't feel safe. It feels like something's about to go wrong, which means, if you're the person that just can't sit still, you find it really hard to relax, really hard to just stay in one position because something always needs doing. So your body is always slightly ahead of itself. It's always managing, always anticipating, always controlling. And you can't switch that off. So within your business, the responsible woman finds it really hard to scale. And not because of strategy, but because your identity, it needs you to be needed. It needs you to be needed. So delegation feels dangerous. Receiving feels uncomfortable. And asking for help feels like weakness. So it's almost like you are the type of person who, you'll get to the point where you have to scale, and then somebody comes in and goes, oh my God, how have you been doing this all by yourself? How are you doing this? And if you're honest, you get a little bit of an ego kick out of that. Like you like the fact that you hold it all together. There is some kind of secondary gain to you holding all your shit together, even though you're exhausted, even though you want, part of you really wants to be able to relax. Like the conscious aware part of you wants to be able to relax and chill out and let the reins go a little bit, but that part of you just won't let go. And remember, whenever I'm talking about anything like this, it's not you as your wholeness. It's never you in your wholeness. It is a part of you that is running the show. It is a part of you that is just in charge a little bit more than is necessary at this point in your life. And it's just the habitual response and your default response to life and to business and to everything that's going on. So the ceiling that you keep hitting is built from the same thing that built your success. So as far as, you've got so far and you've done really well and you've held all your shit together and you've spun all the plates, and so that part of you has got you some success, and that's what's quite, really what makes it really hard to shift and let go of this, because you go, well, look at what I did. Like, I've got this X amount of money coming in, I've got this amount of clients or customers or success or whatever it is, I've got this, look, she did this. So to be something else is really vulnerable and really, really scary, because it's just like, well, if I don't do it that way, how do I get to do it? If I'm not trying and I'm not pushing and I'm not controlling and I'm not, then it just can't even make sense to you how that would happen. And that's the hardest part to see. This got me here, so why would I change it? You have to, because it's no longer feeling good in your body and you know it. And if this is resonating with you, you're listening to this video for a reason, you found it for a reason. It is your wake-up call and your permission to start looking for a different way. So let me just paint that picture for you. Like, what would it look like to run a business that you're not load bearing every single thing, the entire weight of every single job isn't on your shoulders? What would it feel like for a minute? So just breathe into that. Imagine other people that were experts in that area fully managing different parts of your business, and you were just left to do the bit that you absolutely loved. Imagine what that would feel like for a minute. So this isn't necessarily about shifting systems or hiring. There's something that comes before that, because that's strategy. What comes before that is you becoming the woman whose worth isn't contingent to being needed, to being in control, to being fully responsible for everything. That's the shift. That's why everything I talk about is you first, then the strategy. Because let me tell you, if you were to just hire somebody, force yourself to hire somebody, it wouldn't work, because they would probably be you'd micromanage them to within an inch of their life. They wouldn't feel like they were left to do their job. They wouldn't feel trusted, and they would leave, or they'd go and find something else. It would be too confining. You have to be the kind of person first to be able to allow them to do their work and allow them to do their job, obviously with guidance. Now, it's not that you have to do this work and make sure you're fully clear with it before hiring. This is why everything I do in the house it's the place that you have alongside your strategic decisions. I am not saying that strategy doesn't matter. Of course it matters, but we have to be the kind of woman that can execute, that can allow, that can receive, that can delegate. We have to be that person. It has to feel safe, otherwise we'll just mess it up. So this isn't this or this, it's this, and this gets to happen at the same time. In fact, in my experience, it's better to be calibrating to the new experience and to be working actively on the edges that are coming up as you are implementing the action. Because let me tell you, we don't really change without the action. You can feel it in your body and you can know it in your mind, and you can be consciously and unconsciously aware of your edge and aware of this identity that's running the show. But until you are leading yourself from the new identity and dealing with the edges that come up as a result of that, you don't really change. You just understand it as a concept. So this is always about this and this internal work as you do the strategy, internal work as you execute. And the identity shift is the work, always. So if you have built a life around being the responsible one, or any of the other, archetypes and identities that I talk about, I put these together so you can find yourself. And, the house is where you get to put that down, where you get to find a different way. And trust me, from my own experience, is that there is always another way, and there is another way that's aligned for you. And the reason that you found this video, the reason that you're listening to this, the reason that you're watching this is because, and if it's resonating, I mean, if it's not, then fine. But if it's resonating, then there is another part of you that is starting to shout a little bit louder, saying, we can't carry on like this. We can't keep being this person, because it's not going to give you the growth that you want, and it's not going to give you the satisfaction and the fulfillment that you want, because that controlling energy, that responsible energy never lets up. And so you can be as successful as you want to be. You could have all the things externally that you have asked for, but you're still not going to feel good about it, because it comes from that place. So we're about creating success, but creating success that feels good, that feels aligned, and that makes you feel happy. Because at the end of the day, success on the outside is nothing if we don't feel it on the inside. So I hope that's felt good. I hope that landed. Or actually, I hope it didn't feel good to some of you, because if it didn't, that's a good thing. These are meant to highlight parts of yourself that are wanting to be highlighted, so you can move through them. The house is my signature program. It is the place where you get to come in and work through all your edges as you implement, and so you can get to a point where you become super successful, or as successful as you want to be, and feel totally in alignment with that, and be the woman, not just become her, be her sooner rather than later, so you can receive the things that you want to receive. Any questions, any thoughts, please comment below. And if you would like more information on the house, there will be a link below for you to click and get that information. I'll look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care.